So you're trying to learn how to do this. Hey y'all, Zach here. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about what I would do if I had to bench press 315 and start all over again, right? And the exercises that I would recommend to a noob or anyone just starting out, right? Before we get into today's video though, I would like to quickly shout out my workout program. Again, this is a program I designed myself and it helped me get to a 405 bench, a 635 pound deadlift, and a soon to be 500 pound squat, all naturally. And again, all for the price of $5. All right, back to today's video. So getting straight into it, what I would first off recommend is you got to start bench pressing, right? I would recommend at least 3 bench press days out of the week, right? One of those bench press days being like probably low to moderate weight with higher volume, just get that blood flow in your chest, just perfect your technique. And just overall, it helps with like a little bit of deloading. So you're not really stressing your muscles out too much, right? Not a lot of CNS fatigue, right? And the second day is, probably your top set, working up to 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max. Because yes, we got to work on the CNS fatigue, but we also want our CNS to pretty much be primed for heavyweight, right? How do you expect to perform well if you don't know how much that bar is going to really weigh, right? And going for 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max is perfect for that, right? For that neural adaptation. And the third chest day, and the funny thing is I implemented this myself today, right? I would 100% recommend doing a close grip bench press, right? A close grip bench press is just pretty much you having, it's just what it says, right? Your hand placement is a lot more closer, right? And this heavily involves all 3 heads of your triceps, right? Which is a big primary mover when it comes to bench pressing heavy ass weight. And I believe it's one of my weak points, right? Because my chest is pretty damn massive, right? I mean, here's a video of me flexing it. Yeah, my chest is awesome. That's me glazing myself. I'm sorry, I sound like a prick. But my chest is one of my best genetic features, and that's probably why I was able to bench press 405 like 2 years into my bench pressing journey. Like here's me doing so right here. Right? So I would 100% recommend doing your close grip bench probably once a week, unless you do 2 arm days. And then you could probably push doing bench press 4 times a week. And yeah, that's probably something I'd highly recommend, right? The thing is though, that I want you to know about close grip bench is like, depending on hand placement, especially if you have it pretty close, you can risk some wrist pain, wrist injury, right? I noticed that myself because I was getting a little cocky and I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna just see how much I can close grip bench, right? I put 315 on the bar and that didn't move as fast as I wanted to. And I said, hell no. Like here's a video of me doing that right here. All right, 315, low-key kind of intimidating. Right? The goal was 365 and I said, I'm gonna play it safe, right? I did 315, took that shit right off, and your boy just started doing 225 AMRAP. So 100% would recommend doing close grip bench, right? That's probably the biggest thing that will help you increase your bench over the long run. And the coolest thing too, it also translates really well to overhead press because it builds your triceps. It also, which is one of your biggest stabilizing muscles when it comes to overhead pressing. But this video isn't even about overhead pressing, so I don't even know why the hell I'm talking about that. But another cool thing about a perk about the close grip bench is it puts your front delts in a very less amount of strain, right? You're not really straining your delts a lot because, again, the hand placement is a lot more narrower. And another exercise that I would recommend that a lot of people don't do is probably like a lat pull down or pull-ups, right? Your back is what determines how much you can bench press, right? I don't know if you've ever heard the cue, engage your lats when you are bench pressing. It pretty much means like, activate your lats, right? Your lats and your back, just in general, is one of the biggest, muscles that assist when it comes to lifting heavy compound movements, right? Like you got your deadlifts and your bench, right? And your overhead press. Your lats are a huge foundation, right? A lot of people said, how do you expect to have a big bench if you don't have a big back, right? Or just a big chest in general. It's pretty much your foundation. So I'd 100% start spamming your pull-ups or your lat pull-downs or maybe even your lat pullovers. Those are the 3 exercises that I personally do. And again, the coolest thing about that is you're gonna get a sick back bump, right? Over the time, you're like the hypertrophy alone would make you think like, okay, yeah, why didn't I start this earlier, right? Here's me just flexing my back. Right? I mean, it's just a win-win for both situations. You get a bigger bench and you get a bigger back, right? Who wouldn't want that? Another exercise I would recommend is any incline movement, that being like an incline dumbbell, an incline Smith machine, right? I did an incline Smith machine for so long, right? And that 100% when we get to a 405 bench, I believe, right? Because again, it's emphasizing your upper pec, which is one of your main movers, your main prime movers when it comes to your pressing strength, right? And once you feel that shelf out, your bench press is going to only increase, right? And the cool thing about incline movements is it hits your whole chest, right? Yes, it has a huge emphasis on your upper pec, but your whole chest gets hit. So overall, it's a win-win situation, and it puts a lot of more exertion and a lot more physical, I wouldn't say not physical strain, but a lot more hypertrophy on your shoulders as well, on your front delts, right? Because again, of that upward incline movement, that angle. So in other words, you're in that more advantageous ROM for building muscle for your front delts, which will obviously translate really well to your bench press or your pressing strength. And another thing is weighted dips, right? You've heard a lot of people recommend weighted dips because it's amazing. Weighted dips are a huge tricep, another tricep exercise that targets, your horseshoe, right? Which again, a huge muscle when it comes to pressing movement. And obviously it hits a huge lower part of your chest. And overall, just an amazing compound movement that I would recommend doing, especially if you're new to it, right? If you're new to it, you're just gonna get a crap ton of newbie gains. So it's something I'd recommend. It's not something that I really added to my training because I just have so many other stuff. But if you're new to bench pressing and you want to take advantage of those newbie gains, that's something I would highly recommend doing, right? And another exercise is probably just probably a JM press or just any other tricep exercise, because the bigger your triceps are and the stronger they are, the easier it will to be able to press that kind of weight off your body, right? But think about it, or trying to think about any other, that's probably about it, honestly. Like, don't overcomplicate too much because you don't really need to, right? The biggest takeaways from this video is obviously bench more, obviously do your accessories such as your pull-ups, your lat pull-downs, your lat pullovers, and just do like other compound movements that will assist in bench pressing heavy ass weight. And another thing a lot of people need to understand is if you want to bench press a lot of weight, you're going to have to start weighing a little bit, right? I'm not saying go on a crazy bulk, but I am going to say you might have to pick up the calories a little bit, right? Because I noticed after I started going on a slight calorie deficit, my strength dropped, right? I couldn't maintain a 405 bench to save my life, right? I'm even struggling on 385, even though I had a full 3 rest days in between, or full 4 days in between, right? So make sure you stay on top of your calories, your protein, and your carbs. Make sure to carb around the time you are, either the night before the lift or right before the lift. It depends on what carbs, right? If you're going to do the night before, maybe do some complex carbs like pasta. This will easily top off your glycogen storage. Or just if you have freaking 30 minutes before you need to go to the gym, just grab you one of these, right? Some rice cakes. I got like 5 of these. Again, if you want to bench heavy, you're going to have to weigh a little bit, right? Not too much, not too crazy. I was able to bench press 405 at 218 pounds, which is lean for me. But again, I had to be over 200 pounds, right? But yeah, that's today's video. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you can bench press 315 or what your goals are. Appreciate y'all.